What kind of creative solutions have you guys employed to drive more revenue or drive more profit within the margins that you already have?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's ancillary revenue.
Mhm.
I think we've talked about this, obviously earlier, but a lot of those categories drive a lot of profitability. It's not huge dollars, especially in our hotels, but gift shop, making sure that we have the right selection of products for that market and what's selling, because the margin on that is pretty significant, and it's a great amenity for the hotel guest. And so, can we find other avenues like that we can provide? You're limited within the brand, scope, so you have to find where you can add value. But I think gift shop for us has been a significant source. Meeting rental, right? So how do we make that more attractive than just the meeting space? How do we have um, you know, we had setup, we had catering, we had other things to incentivize, planners to actually, book with us. We did this thing at one of our properties where there's a concept called cluster truck. They were a ghost kitchen concept where they would cook in, kitchens that were available to them, and they were out of a mobile facility to kind of deliver and have food, be distributed. And so we let them use our kitchen at one of our hotels, but we would put a menu in our room so that guests could order from them because we weren't a full service hotel. So it was an amenity that created synergy between another operator and us to be able to provide something that wasn't there, and could have been, a great amenity for our guests. So things like that, where you can get creative. Obviously, parking is another one, especially in certain markets where there's a lot of demand for parking outside of the hotel, airports, universities, things like that. So that's always something that we look at in terms of, can we amplify that? Is it being yielded appropriately? But a big focus for us is really the gift shop and meeting rentals, because those are core to our types of properties.
Yeah, that's incredible. And do you feel that's often overlooked by other hotel groups?
I think so. I think there's been more of a spotlight on it today versus before. But as things get tougher from an operating environment, I think people are looking for high yield or high profitability areas of the P&L, even if it's smaller dollar amounts. So I think it is. I think that's something that we across the board have budgeted more this year for 26 at our hotels, because we want to incentivize and really put a spotlight on it for our managers to make sure that they're prioritizing and evaluating on a regular basis. But in terms of data and KPIs, yes. Historically, people just care about RevPAR and Star Report.
Yeah.
Now I think at least the more sophisticated operators are looking at those different segments of the line item, whether it's late fees or no-show fees or pet fees, things like that are really just, they add up pretty fast. And I think the brands are starting to do a better job of adding those add-ons onto their platforms. So it makes it more seamless for guests to, buy that amenity or enhance their stay with a spa treatment or something like that, where it's more digital. And it also is tailored through, the technology that's available based on habits or previous buying patterns.
Yeah, one thing that we started looking at for revenue managing the parking aspect is the net margins, and the mixing of channels and who's charging what commissions from the OTAs. Is that something that you've started looking at as well for your assets on the hotel room OTAs?
Yeah, no, channel mix is huge.
Yeah.
And obviously we want to drive down as much OTA use as we can, just because it's more of an expensive channel, and the brands are helping that too. But yeah, no, net channel analysis and mix of sales is very critical. So, are you providing those discounted rates in the right time periods where it makes sense? And how can you drive more direct business? So that's a huge priority in revenue management for us. Yeah.
And how involved in that are you from the ownership side?
I mean, we do it. We do a huge review from a mix of sales standpoint to understand, while rate may be great, but profitability could suffer if your channel mix is off, right? So we're reviewing mix of sales. I think that's something that some asset managers will gloss over, but given our revenue background, given our team's revenue background, that's critical for us to link, revenue performance to profitability, because you'll see that pretty clearly if your revenue is strong, but your profitability is off and your commissions are high. So it'll be a huge smoking gun.